Hey everyone, Coach Stacie here with Coach Allie, and we are heading into the month that we affectionately like to call Get Routine Ready. Um, so this is the month where everyone is at that like, shoot, I got to get my last skills. I'm not ready. And sometimes they have all their skills, but they don't have them consistently, or they're not yet consistently onto competition surfaces. And so, for the kids that are still struggling to get a skill, there's kind of like some content that we have this month that I'll tell you about in just a minute. But for all the rest of your kids who are kind of on track, they have their skills, they're ready. We like to this point really help them refocus on a season goal. Because what they've been focused on up till now, up till this point, is like getting the skills they need for season. So I tell them all the time, I'm like, well, what's your goal? And they're like, well, my goal is to be able to compete level 9. And I'm like, okay, so you're going to reach that goal in January. Then what? And so this is the time where we're trying to help them lift their eyes again to the bigger picture of what they're trying to complete for the year. Because this is the time where it's like, okay, well, if your goal is, you know, I want to go to level 10 nationals and place in the top 5, but I'm not working on refining my form, getting my jumps higher, da da da. It's going to be too late to do that in the middle of season. This is the time when they need kind of that reminder of all the things they're going to need in order to get to that goal. So we like to spend this month helping them get those final things that they need. So, Allie, we love to talk about goals in a specific way around here. You want to talk about setting a season goal?
Yeah. I know I've given this analogy before, but I love talking about being able to set a goal that is high and that is challenging enough so that they have to make small little goals the entire season in order to try and get there. And we always say it's okay if you don't reach that goal. We're here to help you deal with that emotional part of it, right? Like we can deal with the disappointment of not reaching the goal. But if you set a wimpy little goal, then likely you're not going to get as far as you would have if you set that big goal. So our examples that we use, I know Stacie likes to use the 4 panel mat goals, is what she says. And so we kind of have this idea of like, okay, if I put 1 panel mat on the floor, can you jump up to it? And they're like, oh, yeah, no problem. And they can jump up to the panel mat. And then I'm like, what about 2 panel mats? Yeah, sure. So we keep stacking. We get to 4 or 5. It depends on, the age and whatever of the gymnast. We're like, so can you jump up to this panel mat? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, what is going to be the worst thing that happens if you try and you don't make it? And they're like, I jump back, maybe do a safety roll, like trip and laugh. I don't know. Like maybe it won't feel good, but like you're going to be fine if you trip on a panel mat and fall onto a mat, right? So then we get to the end of all this and I'm like, okay, you jumped so high to get up to those 4 panel mats. Whether you made it or didn't make it doesn't really matter. How come when you only had 1 panel mat, you jumped just high enough to get on top of it? You didn't jump as high as you did for 4 panel mats. And they're like, yeah, I don't know, because just I didn't have to. And we're like, exactly. So you want to set your goals like a 4 panel mat goal because even if you can't make it onto all 4 panel mats, you might be able to make it up to 3. And if you only set a 1 panel mat goal, you're only making a 1 panel mat. And so being able to challenge them to set their goals high and then be able to work towards those and then deal with the things that come with that, we can help them do. Or you can help them do, right? Celebrating those wins and being able to go through that process. We give you more on that later. But the idea is like set them up to challenge themselves because they'll get much further challenging themselves than having their wimpy, like, great, I did it. And we love to do that as gymnasts because it feels good, right? And as humans and as other athletes, like it feels good to be able to reach your goals. So you set ones that you know you can make so you can feel good for that long. And then you have to keep doing it and keep doing it. So
Yeah. And what we found is like coming back to this process of setting that big goal. So I was coaching a level 10 2 weeks ago, and she was really nervous to do her double pike. She didn't really even want to work on it. She used to have it, but she didn't really want to work on getting it back. But we went back to, okay, well, what is your actual season goal? And her season goal is, level 10 nationals, getting in the top. And so I said, well, what is going to prepare you more, having the double pike or not having the double pike to reach that goal? And she's like, yeah, I need the double, like the double pike is going to help me reach that goal. And I said, so do you think, at the time it was like mid-September, I'm like, do you think it's worth working on at this point in order to set yourself up for the possibility of that success later? And she's like, yeah, it's worth working on. Then she got it in a week.
Typical. All these gymnasts, I tell you what.
But the thing is it helps them. Again, she's like, well, I only need to jump this high to have my level 10 routine. And so I've jumped that high, I'm good. And being able to go, well, no, but what if you were trying to go for the 4 panel mats? You're going to need to jump higher. And then that motivates them to put in that extra effort. And it also helps them not get stuck later. So often of course, they're not going to be thinking about level 10 nationals or level 9 regionals or level, states or whatever it is that the end of their goal is right now. All they're thinking about right now is competing that first meet at the level they want to compete at. But then what happens is then they're not ready skill wise for that last one. And this is the time they need to get ready. So we really like to reassess and have them go, okay, now looking at where you're at now, because we did this back in May. So those of you who have been with us longer and those who are in our program year round, in May, we set a season goal for the next year. And then we like to revisit it now in October. Then we're going to revisit it again mid-season, where we're continuing to kind of go, okay, let's reset the goal. Let's recommit. What is it going to be now that you know where you are right here? So, Allie, how do you take them through the process to set their season goal?
Well, first I just like to ask them like what they really want. Is their plan to do college gymnastics someday? Is their plan to try and be an elite qualifier? Is their plan to try and compete the next level? Whatever. Just rank high at nationals. Like I really like to get an overall sense of like what do you like actually truly want if you could have anything in the world. Okay? And start there. And then I like to have them be like, okay, on each event, I'll go through each event. What routines do you believe you would need to compete in order to get to that point this year? Okay. Sometimes it takes some backing up and helping them like organize those thoughts because it can be a lot. But like, let's just say we have a level 10 that wants to compete college gymnastics because this is very similar to scenario to someone I was just talking to. And they were like, okay, I'm going to do this for my bar routine. And I was like, okay, great. That might help you get what you need for level 10 to qualify to regionals and to do whatever. And I said, but is a college coach she wanted to go to college. I was like, is a college coach going to watch that routine and be like, they could contribute to our college team? And they were like, no, probably not. It's not up to level based on a lot of the routines I'm seeing in college. I'm like, okay, so yeah, you're fine. But like at the same time, that's not going to help you reach your overall goal. So what skills would you need in order to actually reach that college routine type level? And so that's how I help them build their dream routines. Like by the end of season, I want to be competing this on each event. Okay. And then we go through and we mark like, yes, I got it good. Yes, I can do it, but it's maybe like got quite a few deductions and needs some work or needs like a little bit more, or no, I'm not there yet. So we go through and usually they feel much better after that because a lot of them are a lot closer than they think. And this helps you in that moment because if they're nowhere close on any of them, then you know that maybe the goal is a little too far. Like if they need every skill in every event, it's like, okay, let's rethink what this goal is and talk about something that's a little more realistic. If they need 1 or 2 skills on each event, like getting into that place, it just really helps you challenge them while being realistic. So going through each event, picking their dream skills, talking about what they already have, what they need to improve on, and what they still need to get, and then being able to work the rest of the month from there. So, setting that dream goal and then working through how we're going to get there on each event, I think really sets them up for the most success at this point.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk those kids that are really struggling. You've got some, mental block kids who are like full on mental block on a skill. You've got kids who are inconsistent on lots of skills. You've got kids who are just struggling with a few skills. Um, we're going to talk next week about the underlying idea of fear, and that a lot of times coaches think fear just means I'm afraid to get injured on the skill. That's really not the case at all. So come back next week to learn about that. But last week we did our overcome fear, frustrations, and past failures coaches clinic. This was our most popular coaches clinic from all the clinics we did this summer. We did a bunch of different congresses, and it was always the one that was full. And so we wanted to redo it virtually for all the people that didn't get to go to a congress. But also, this is the time you really need it, right? This is the time where you've got those kids, and you're like, I am at my wits' end. I have tried everything to help them, and they're running out of time. And so go back and listen to that coaches clinic. It's going to be really, really helpful. And we also don't want you to be in a position where then you have to teach your gymnasts and your parents, because it's a team effort, right? Like, you can know the things, but your kids need to know that same language and the same mindset tools that you're going to know. And then the parents do too. And each person needs to know kind of their part in it. So we're doing a free mindset training for each person in the team. So coaches clinic was last week. This coming weekend, we have free training for the gymnasts. So Saturday morning, Sunday afternoon, 2-hour mindset training. We normally charge like $1,000 to do one of these for a gym, $997. We're doing it free. All your kids can come. Send them all to us. We will train them for you. We're going to take them through worksheets and exercises so that they know how to use the tools. We just had one of our kids who was like, I got my round off on beam, but now I'm totally afraid I'm not going to be able to do it again. And then she came back. She's like, never mind. I totally did it again. I used the tools and it was fine. So, like, they're going to learn the tools. Then we're going to do one for parents the following Thursday so that they are on board with the same kinds of support and conversations. So send your kids, send your parents, go back and listen yourself if you didn't listen already. And then next week we will talk a little bit about fear and getting those last skills.
We'll put the link for them in the notes. Okay. Show notes.
Absolutely.
Check it out.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.